What's up, guys? Today we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy is created by Avalanche Studios under WB Games, and it brings the player into the Harry Potter wizarding world 100 years before the events of the aforementioned series. Now, full disclosure, I am a Harry Potter fan, so I will be looking at the game from that lens, but I will do my best to give both perspectives, whether you are a fan or are not. Also, for what it's worth, I played on a PS5. I don't know much about it on other consoles, so I can't really speak to that. From my understanding, it's pretty even across the board, but just keep that in mind. In this game, you play as a unique student who is coming to Hogwarts as a 5th year instead of 1st, which in America is equivalent to about a junior in high school. You come into school under these special circumstances owing to the fact that your character has some sort of connection with what they're calling old magic or ancient magic. You get to create your own character. Now, it's a pretty decent character creator. It's not as robust as some others out there. There is presets, and you can kind of pick one of many. The voice thing is pretty cool. You can change the pitch of the voice, but there's no like sliders to make your character taller or smaller or wider or skinnier or anything like that. There's decent hair options, but again, it's options of each one. You can't like lengthen or change a lot of specific parts of the color. Now, maybe later they'll add that in, but at least for now, it's somewhat basic, but there is a decent amount of options, so it's still pretty fun. But just know that going in, you get to create a character, but not maybe to the nth degree like you might want. The game starts you off with a little story and then jumps you right into the action, letting you experience a little bit of magic casting, but it's only just a small taste of what the game offers. Once you get to the school, the game starts to show its true colors. After being sorted into your house, you start going to class, having special assignments for teachers, and all of that gives you new spells and skills that you'll use out in the world, throughout the school, doing all sorts of things. Now, there are puzzles everywhere in the castle, all different kinds, different places, different areas, different difficulties. Some are super easy, some not so much. There's these cool ones where you find a mirror and you shine your light and then it shows you a picture. You gotta try to find where that picture is. When you find it, you'll find like some other, object or item, and then you lead that back to the picture. There's other ones where it's like a math puzzle. You gotta figure out what the numbers are based on the pictures that you see and finding those buttons that you can change to that to open the door. There's lots of other ones. It's pretty cool. They're fun. They're nothing too crazy, at least so far for me, but they're a good distraction. They're a good fun time. Some puzzles you can get to right away. Others are blocked and they're clearly marked as like doors that are locked or whatever that you cannot access yet. And that requires getting further into the story to get new spells to be able to get through. As you walk the halls of Hogwarts, you will meet multiple students to engage in conversation or start up a side quest. A few characters you meet are just quest giver or NPC types, right? You talk to them, you get a quest, you complete the quest, you give it back, pretty much done. But others are very clearly designed to be comrades going forward. They'll be friends that you connect with and interact with on a regular basis. Now, the truth about this game is that surprisingly, the star of the show is actually the combat. Combat is where this magic-infested fantasy world really shines. If you're like me at all, you would have looked at the trailers and thought that it would be cool to visit like this wizarding world, but that there's no way the combat would be interesting. But if you thought that, then like me, you'd be wrong. In Hogwarts, you have basic attack spells, and that's like permanently bound to a button. But as you learn other spells, you can trade them in and out, where you hold a trigger and push a button, and that activates a certain spell. As you get more, you have to trade them in and out. So you always have those 4 kind of in rotation, but they all act in different parts of the game. And so you have regular attack spells, and then you have different support spells, and the different support spells are kind of broken up into different types themselves. And so when you are in combat, especially like with another wizard, they put up a shield, and that shield has a specific color to it. And your regular attacks cannot break through that shield. In order to hit them, you have to first use a support spell that matches the color of that shield to break it or take them out or disrupt them. And then you can hit them with your attack spells. So you have to make sure you have the right ones and then use them at the right times. Now, in the meantime, you're also getting attacked. And it almost works like a Batman Arkham Asylum, where you'll get a yellow flash above your head, and that's something that you can use a shield real quick, and if you use it at the right time, you'll deflect it back to them, or even go into a counter curse. Now, if it's red, you have to dodge. If you try to use a shield, you'll just get smashed, right? So you have to dodge the red attacks. And so you are constantly having to attack spell, use a support skill, dodge, deflect, use another support skill. And then on top of that, your character has special abilities that you use with R1. It's basically like lifting up something and throwing it at them. Or if you hit R1 and L1, when you get to the right point, you'll do like your special attack. And in order to do that, you have to build up your gauge to activate those spells, and you activate those gauges by getting combos of 10 or more. They actually serve as like drops, like magic drops on the ground, and as you collect them, they'll build up your meter to where then you can use your special attack. It actually ends up being super fun, really engaging and interesting, with lots of customization that you can use. You know, whether you have attack spells on there or more support spells than just one attack, or how you want to do it. You also can switch out in the middle, so if you get good with your menus, you can fight a little bit, switch out, do it again. You also get an invisibility spell, so you can kind of play your sneak archer build almost, which is pretty cool. Surprisingly, the combat is super fun. It's actually a really good time. It allows for a lot of customization that makes it really fun and involved, and it's pretty awesome. Now, from a Harry Potter fan perspective, there are actually some really cool Easter eggs and homages to be found, which I'm sure doesn't surprise you at all. But there's obvious ones right away, like you meet Professor Weasley, who obviously, you know, is connected to the Weasley family in the books and movies, or Headmaster Black, which if you know your book or movie, you'll remember him as being on the wall in Dumbledore's office. You know, he goes back and forth and talks to the family and stuff. So characters that make connections to the books and movies. But there's some cool little things, like when you get your house, so you get sorted based on answering questions, but you can of course change it and pick the one you want. They gotta make sure you have that option, right? And if you go into Gryffindor, then Professor Weasley is super nice to you. If you go into the other house, she is much less so. Which is kind of funny, right? That fits into that idea that all the Weasleys were in Gryffindor. So little things like that. They're not huge. They're not like big, massive things where if you're not a Harry Potter fan, then it's going to matter. But it does add a little bit if you know that world. Also, you get to go to Hogsmeade, and it looks great. But all of that aside, exploring Hogwarts in all its grand detail, rooting around Hogsmeade, getting butterbeer, flying around on your broom, going in the wand shop, which was really cool. All of it is just super cool. And anybody who liked Harry Potter and is a fan of video games at all, this is a game you've wanted forever. Now, I'm in love with this game. My whole house is in love. My wife, who barely plays games, is playing it. My daughter, who barely plays games, is playing it. My son wants to play. I mean, all my kids want to play this game. Quickly becoming a house favorite, and I highly recommend giving it a shot. Well guys, that's it for me for now. If you enjoyed the video, would you consider hitting the like button? It means a lot to me and helps with the whole YouTube thing. If you're new around here and you like this kind of content, I put out videos like this multiple times a week. So consider subscribing and you'll be one of the first to see it. As always, have a good one. Thanks for watching.